Hello guys, thank you for clicking on this video. Today I'm going to go over saying um talk about how to understand PC problems, any problems that you're having with your computer and stuff. Examine software changes, review hardware issues, and adjust PC settings, determine the source, and when to give up and take it let a professional deal with an issue. So it's sometimes PC trouble basically sneaks up on you. It's like whenever you want something to work, it doesn't work when it want at the time that you want it to. Um, Let me just read out. PC trouble. It sneaks up on horizon like dawn. So unlike the sun, however, technology issues hardly warm up your day with welcome sunshine. No, not the dread and foreboding that comes with computer woe. It is a splash of cold water, pebble in your shoe, and a long-term visit from an unwelcome guest all rolled into one. You can't avoid computer problems, but you can prepare for its arrival. You can also become familiar with the core cause of digital distress. The more you know about why things go wrong, the better you can prepare yourself for that eventuality. So the root of all PC trouble, it's simply enough, the cause of nearly all PC trouble is rooted in one thing: change. I can't stress this enough. If you change something, or if there's any updates released recently for whatever operating system you have, or any hardware updates that you've applied, that can cause a lot of trouble. You know what I'm saying? No changes. But if everything is carried out, I'm saying if subsequent changes have been carried out, you know, saying which are related to whatever software or hardware you've upgraded or made changes to, then everything should work fine. If not, then it will give you some problems, so you'll come up with some error messages. So most computers foul up because something has changed. It could be something you did, such as modify a setting, uncover a software bug, run a malicious program, or experience any several items that all qualify as change. Even time is an agent of change in that the PC hardware gets old, eventually wears out and fails. So if you're running an old machine, it will eventually stop, you know what I'm saying, cooperating or stop functioning, as it normally does. Because as you know, hardware changes, you know, saying every couple of years, you know, so, and with software upgrades, I'm saying sometimes your hardware is not compatible. So the goal isn't to avoid change, but rather to be aware of its consequences. The process of troubleshooting becomes easier when you realize that something you just did, intentionally or not, might have triggered a problem. So if you are fully aware, like I mentioned before, if you are aware of the changes that you've applied or made to your computer, have been made to your computer, you can. It's easy to troubleshoot it. So what's changed? What would you constitute as change? It's not it's not your fault that you've changed something. So computers are designed to be flexible. So rather than blame yourself when trouble arises, just recall what's changed. When you do, you can make it easier to troubleshoot. You can make it easier to troubleshoot and find the source of what's going wrong. For example, if you install a new keyboard and the mouse doesn't work, perhaps you unplug the mouse instead of the old keyboard. You update a graphics driver, and now all your computer games are reset to low resolution. The point is to be aware of what you've just done, to see how it relates to the current problem. Like I mentioned before, anything that is um, related to whatever changes you've made can stop working or stop malfunctioning, start to malfunction. So, if you're aware of the changes that you've made, you can reverse engineer or trace your steps back and see what changes you've made, and you can troubleshoot it. It's easier to troubleshoot if you do it that way, because you're aware of what's going on and what's gone wrong, what changes you've made quite recently. So, to help you discover what's changed or what might have caused recent issues, ask yourself, what did I just do? Specifically, did you recently or just now install new software, add new hardware, or change a setting on your computer? These are the three categories that you need to specifically keep in mind, or things you need to keep in mind, like, when you're troubleshooting. Like, think about, like, if you've installed any new software, like if there's been any Windows updates or any updates that you've applied to your computer, software updates, whatever. Has that caused any issues? Any hardware upgrades? Like, if you swapped your hard drive for an SSD, or I'm saying, or whatever, I'm saying, you've upgraded your RAM. If it's computer stop working or starts malfunctioning, or you know, you know, those things could be related to that. Have you changed a setting? You know, think hard. That's because you do a lot of with your computer, and sometimes you do several things at once. For example, a dialog box may feature multiple settings, but not only one OK button. All the settings are applied instantly with a mouse click. Undoing the change requires that you recall which change you just made. Windows keeps track of all system activities, including those that cause problems. You can check Event Viewer Windows, which lets you pursue system logs for signs of trouble. So let's talk about each thing that could cause problems on your computer. So, installing software. Software covers. So the software can be from your PC's OS operating system to programs you install. It also includes the software that controls specific pieces of hardware, which are referred to as drivers. The best way to avoid issues caused by installing new software is to create a restore point. That way, should problems arise, you can uninstall the software and use the restore point to recover system's previous configurations. So, restore points, it's good. It's a good thing to have restore points, but always have a backup all your data when you're before you upgrade your computer on an external hard drive or something, along with creating restore points, because sometimes restore points don't work. I've had instances in the past where I've relied on